everyone. How are you? This is Erica, Bernando's oldest grandchild, and it happens to be New Year's Day 2024. We've made it to the other side. So I'm coming on here today as I'm fluffing up my hair. Okay, I'm coming on here today because I wanted to address a question or an assumption that I get repeatedly, like all the time. People write me and they say, Bernando was a vegan and how did he do this, that, and the third? He was not a vegan. My grandfather was not a vegan. He was really a pescatarian. He was really someone who was following more of a I guess you could say almost kind of like a more what you would think of as a Mediterranean diet in many respects. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is not to, cast aspersions or shame anyone who is embracing a vegan lifestyle, but more to point out that there are nutritional things that you need to make sure that you are taking care of if you're a vegan or a vegetarian. I mean, regardless, even if you're neither of those things and you're an omnivore, you need to make sure that you are taking care of your baseline nutritional needs. So I've had a couple of people write me. For example, there was one young man, well, I'm assuming he's a young man, who wrote me through the Facebook page saying that he was having chest pains, that he had embraced a vegan lifestyle and that he was having chest pains and he didn't know what to do and he was worried and could I give him any advice about that and all of that. So if you're having chest pains, whether you're a vegan or a vegetarian or an omnivore or even a carnivore, you need to go see the doctor. You need to go see the doctor. It is not something that you should fool around with and that you should play with and that you should waste time with, because there are many, many reasons why a person could have heart disease or potential heart disease. Are you experiencing some kind of a blockage? Are you nutrition deficient in some way? There are many things that can contribute to heart disease. Of course, stress is a big contributor to heart disease. Perhaps it's something genetic that runs in your family, but whatever the reason why you're having chest pains, you need to look into it. So, this channel, I am here to try and elucidate, to try and explain and humanize Bernando's lifestyle choices. This is why it's important to go get a physical checkup. It's important to do that. You should go at least once a year, maybe even twice a year, especially as you get older. I mean, my grandfather was the son of a doctor. My grandfather always went and got medical checkups. He did that every year. If he felt that something was a little off, he would go and get a checkup. It's not that he wasn't educated, it wasn't that he didn't have this fear of doctors, but neither did he have absolute faith in the state of the medical profession as it is today. That being said, that did not mean that he did not go to get regular exams. There are things that regular exams can reveal that you may not be able to understand or discern simply on your own, So as long as we have a body, we are subject to the weaknesses and the foibles of the body. Okay, so let me get back to the main point. So my grandfather had a diet that was, yes, very, very rich in fruits and vegetables and legumes. So, he was eating fresh greens every single day. He was eating fresh fruits every single day, right? He was having at least a green salad every single day. He was having his superfood smoothie drink in the mornings, which have a lot of greens, concentrated greens in them, and concentrated sources of vitamin C, for example, also B. In other words, he was making sure that he was getting all his nutritional needs met at an optimal level. The truth of the matter is that the soil in the United States of America is very, very depleted. It just is. After, decades and decades and decades of chemical sprays and pesticides and a depletion of the soil and not putting back in, it takes its toll on that. He was certainly, aware of these different things, being a chef, a person who was dealing with food all the time, and just as a man who lived, a man who lived over the course of a century. Of course, he could see, he could notice, he could taste the difference in foods from when he was a child, a boy, a young man, until, when he was 114 years of age. So that's why I'm always, recommending that you check out Dr. Schultz's products. In particular, Bernando was very fond of and leaned on heavily on the Superfood Plus, and the Echinacea. Now the Superfood and the Superfood Plus, now it comes in different varieties. There's a one that has got blueberries in it now. There's different forms of superfood that are also tailored to be higher in protein, because perhaps you want to work out in the gym. And if you want to work on the gym and you want to build muscle, you know that you need to have protein. Protein, that brings me to the topic of protein for vegans. So if you're eating a vegan diet, plant-based diet, and you're eating a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables, it's still important that you get your protein. So for example, of course, for example, Bernando ate black beans without any pork. He ate black beans and brown rice. That makes a complete protein. What does that mean? A complete protein means a protein that your body can use and assimilate, right, and digest. Perhaps black beans don't agree with you, so you could try lentils, or you could try kidney beans, or you could try split peas, or you could try azuki beans, or you could try cannelli beans, or you could try, there are so many varieties of beans. There are so many varieties of beans, but the point is that eating beans with a rice, that creates a complete protein, and that gives you the protein that you need. So, over the course of my life and over the course of my experiences, I've encountered people who adopted a vegan lifestyle with all good intentions, but didn't necessarily understand that they needed to find a way to give themselves protein, or they needed to find a way to make sure they got enough vitamin D. They needed to find a way to make sure they got optimal amounts of vitamin C or their B vitamins, and so on and so forth. Their magnesium, their calcium. If you don't want to consume cow's milk, if you don't want to consume any milk, any of those milks at all, Bernando didn't. But he, made sure that he had, enough calcium and magnesium in his diet. Actually, that's a slight untruth. He did use a little cream sometimes in his oatmeal. Okay, he did. Sometimes he would do that. Sometimes he would put a pat of butter. But, it wasn't like he was drinking a quart of milk every day. You just need to make sure that you make these adjustments. I just wanted to say that because I'm just concerned that people are not getting the whole picture. You know, they're not getting the whole picture of what he did, and they're not understanding that if you want to make adjustments and you want to translate things over for you and the way that you feel is best for you to eat, you still need to make sure that you carry over your nutritional portfolio. I'll give a personal example. So as I said in the last video, I'm 60 now, and I'm going to be 61 on April 8th. When I was about 18, when I was about 18, I decided that I wanted to become a vegetarian. So I was no longer going to consume chicken. I wasn't going to consume pork. I wasn't going to consume beef. I wasn't even going to consume fish, right? I was taking it a step farther than my grandfather. And so I didn't. And I noticed after about, I would say 4 days of this diet where I was literally just eating like sweet potatoes and veggies and so forth, that I started to feel very, very, very weak. I started to feel sleepy. I mean, I literally didn't have enough energy or brain energy to stay awake, to go to school and stay awake, because at the time I was pursuing a certificate program in the arts. And fortunately, I had a friend who actually had inspired me to become vegetarian, Kristen, and I told her what was happening, and she said, "Oh no, well, what are you eating?" And so I told her what I was eating, and she said, my dear, you have got to make sure that you get a complete proteins. You've got to make sure that you eat rice and beans together. And that was a revelation to me. So I adopted that. She actually showed me how to make a mung dal. She showed me how to make like a split pea soup also, with the rice. She showed me how to make a dish called khichdi, which is Indian in origin. It is a combination of beans and rice cooked together with some spices and some veggies in it. And so this became my staple food. So I had to learn how to approach, vegetarianism in the right way. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to sustain that lifestyle for literally more than a week. Okay, I'm going to put the links in below here to Dr. Schultz's products. There is still free shipping. Free shipping goes on through tomorrow, January 2nd. It doesn't matter, what you get. That's valid here in the US. And I hope that this is helpful to you. I guess I'll conclude just by saying Bernando was not a vegan. He was a pescatarian. He did not eat beef. He did not eat pork. He did not eat chicken. He did not eat eggs. He did eat fatty fish. He ate salmon. He ate sardines. I mean, he even ate trout. He enjoyed eating lobster. And once or twice a year, because of his Catholic upbringing, because of family custom, he would eat lamb, particularly around Easter. Does this mean that you have to eat lamb? No, it doesn't mean that you have to eat lamb. Does this mean that you have to eat lobster? No, it doesn't mean that you have to eat lobster. You may be allergic to shellfish, for example. But I just wanted to put in context his lifestyle choices, and that even though he was a pescatarian primarily, and he ate a diet very, very rich in fruits and vegetables. Again, he ate green vegetables and fruits every single day in a high degree. I would say that those two things made up, 2/3, really 2/3 of his diet, right? He ate moderately. He didn't overeat, but that was there nonetheless. So if you examine, the makeup of seafood, it has different features in it. It has long chain fatty acids, brain food, right? So I don't eat fish, but I make sure that I have long chain fatty acids in my diet, so I'm feeding my brain, right? So my hair, and all these different things and my nervous system stay functioning. I just wanted to make that clear. All right, hopefully this wasn't too rambling. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the video, and I'm wishing you a very healthy and prosperous new year. Bye-bye now.